Good evening all and welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel. It is, of course, fan forum night and lots to get into tonight, of course. The disappointment against Bournemouth, of course, and injuries. We've got the England games coming up, which we will be covering on the channel. So if you want to get involved, hit the link at the top of the live comments and join us. We've already got some rabble in there waiting to come on. But those of you that don't know, some fantastic news for the channel, which is strange because me and Billy are dressed in black for some reason, but this is actually fantastic news. The Toon Review have been nominated as a finalist in the Football Content Awards for 2022, which is absolutely incredible. It is a massive achievement for us as a channel. A massive well done to Adam Pearson as well, who's also in there. He's representing Newcastle as well. He's in two categories. We're in the one, which is basically for the Premier League club content for, of course, Newcastle United. It's been amazing. Got the email this afternoon and obviously shared it with all the guys and then put it on social media. But as usual, people have crawled under their rocks, so just ignore them, guys, as we are. Yeah, let's just hope we can move forward and get plenty votes. I will put the link up around about half an hour into this show once we get all the guests on. I'll replace the link to come on the show with the link to go and vote. And you can go and vote for the Toon Review. I know a lot of people already have, so massive thank you to them. We are making a big thing of this because it's massive for us. It's the first time we've ever been, that far. To be honest, to get through to the final with only 7 other channels is huge for us as a podcasting channel, and we must be doing something right. So as long as we keep doing what we're doing, we'll be fine. And as long as you guys out there keep supporting us like you have been, we'll also be fine. So it is a massive thank you to everybody out there, of course, who has helped us get to this stage. Not just myself, obviously Billy, Danielle, Alex, but the mods as well. Thomas, who's no longer with us because he's got other priorities, obviously. But Thomas was mod, Cesare, Gary, Rachel, Julie, of course, and Susan. And obviously Susan does a lot of work behind the scenes as well with the channel. So there is a lot of work goes on. When we're not on screen, there's a lot of conversations go on. There's a lot of work goes into putting videos out, etc. And we just want to grow. There's always going to be the haters out there. We can't help that. People, of course, try and whatever walk of life it is, once you get a bit of success in life, the haters will come at you. And that's just the same on YouTube. But for us, we don't care about them. I really don't care about them now. So we are through to the final, which is a monumental achievement for us. And yeah, as I say, I'll pop the link up about halfway through the show, and you can go if you wish to go and vote for the Toon Review. It's open till the 9th of October, I believe, the voting. So a long time to go yet. So we will keep pushing this as hard as we can, and of course, getting the invite to go down to Manchester for the soiree. Yes, Billy.
Up to Manchester for me.
Well, yeah, but the problem is they only give you one ticket.
Oh, well, it's you then.
So yes, but you can purchase tickets, Billy. So but this is how swanky it is, right? It's 95 quid for a ticket, right? Now the email is stipulated that obviously I can bring the gang, but everyone has to pay who's coming, but I have to email them to let them know who's ordered tickets so that they can put us on the same table. So it's what the hell was the dress code again? Oh, I can't remember now. It began with a P. I can't remember. Anybody know what it possibly is beginning with a P? I mean, I can find out, but I think it's a bit crazy. Only one ticket, like, you know what I mean? It's a bit madness, because there's more than one on the Toon review. That's a certainty. I mean, Adam's all right because it's just him, but for us, we're a team, and we'll sort it out anyway. We'll get there. But it's a very swanky hotel. It's one of the posh ones, begins with an M. Again, I can't remember. Oh, hang on, I might be able to get the email up, actually. I'll be able to tell people where it is. Let's have a look. Wednesday, the 16th of November at the Mercury Hotel in Manchester. So I've seen a picture. It looks quite a posh one, Bill. Looks nice.
Maybe it's better I don't go then.
No, listen, give over. We all deserve to be there, and hopefully we'll get there. But it's £95.8 ticket. So, I mean, it goes to say what kind of swanky event it is. You know what I mean? If it was like a £10 pie and pea night, then you would think, maybe it's just one of them throwback things. But it's not. So yeah, it's our eat. But thank you again. We're going to make a big thing of this, Billy. There's no doubt about that. It's not every day you get through to the final for awards. I mean, it's like the football awards, Oscars, isn't it? It's crazy. Yeah. Spike Milligan, thank you very much for your 20 quid super chat, mate. A big congrats. Wishing you well. Thank you, buddy. Andrew, looking forward to this. We'll bring the rabble on in just a second. Just to let all the ladies know, prepare yourselves, right? I can see him laughing and shaking his head now, but prepare yourself because Francisco is in the chat, and you know what he does he turns women's legs to jelly just by talking. So I just better prepare you now. Gary, good evening, mate. Diane, hope you're well. Pilo Keith, good evening. Adam says, evening, everyone. Last day tomorrow in Cyprus, back to sunny Scotland on Thursday. Hope everyone is well. Michael, good evening. Julie, good evening all. Click the subscribe button and join the family. And we did mention, vote for us. We're finalists, kids. Indeed. James, good evening. Hope you're well. Gary says, good evening, Paul, and everyone taking part in the show. Good evening, chat. Let's keep comments respectful and the usual rules. Everybody's saying hi to everybody else. Zishan, thank you for your £4.49, buddy. Congratulations, Toon Review family. All you have to remember is where you were this time last year. Anyway, Francisco says good evening before he actually talks. Andrew, good evening. Lots of people saying hello. Carl, good evening. Tom says good evening, everyone. Congrats on making the final shortlist for the awards. I've already voted for you. Great to see Adam P in there too. Yeah, it is. By the way, I did send Adam a text congratulating him, and he sent one back saying he's really pleased for us as well, of course. Adam's a good pal of mine, and there's no competition there at all. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, we've made the finalists, which is a big achievement anyway, win or not on the night. We are, as a channel, winners by getting to the final 8, as far as I'm concerned, out of all the hundreds and thousands of Premier League football club podcasts there is out there. To get to where we've got, it's fantastic, whether we win or not, to be honest.
It's a massive plus for Newcastle United, full stop, isn't it? I mean, 2 of us in the last 8 is an amazing feat, really.
And 2 Newcastle players in the best footballers as well. It was Bruno and 3, sorry.
Yeah, who's Callum as well?
Oh, so there's Callum Wilson, Bruno, and ASM. So it's fantastic to have 2 representatives from Newcastle in the content for the Premier League. Adam's in another one, I think, for overall content as well, for football content. So I've voted for him in that one, obviously, because we're not in that one. So I voted for him. So, yeah. Trolls, thank you for your 100 Norwegian krona. Great to see this channel go from 4 subs to nomination and in the final. Yeah, Trolls has been with us a long, long time. A long time. Thank you very much, buddy. George T, thank you for your 20 quid super chat, mate. Well done, the Toon Review. £20 to getting the 4 of you to Manchester. Oh, thanks, mate. That's really kind. Thank you so much for that. Right. Should we bring in the rabble, Billy? I think it's about time.
Yeah, let's get him on.
We've got King of Qatar. We've got Chippers. We've got Jimmy, who seems to have Sorry Craig Hope next to his name. I'm not... Ryan.
I know why.
Jack, Mason, and here he is, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Puerto Rico, Francisco.
Tic-tac-toe.
Say something.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to join the Toon Review.
Yes. Listen to that, man. He just melts you. Doesn't he? Look at Roy. He's sinking back in his sofa there. He's like just melting like chocolate. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I've already got a boner.
You sound like any other typical North American I talk to.
Behave.
Oh, God.
Oh, you're
the 21s are one down, by the way. The 21s are one down.
Yeah, they were 0-0 at half time when they're playing Barnsley.
Jack Butterfield has scored for Barnsley.
Jack Butterfield. Wow. I bet he got an interesting name at school. Anyway, Jimmy, why sorry Craig Hope?
Well, I made a response to one of his articles about Isak and how we must get a tune out of him and da-da-da-da-da. And that was the headline. But if you read through his article, it wasn't really about that. It was just basically a clickbait headline. And so he wrote me back and said, did you read the article? Da-da-da. And I had to give him a little journalism 101 lesson that your headline does have to be about the crux of what your article is about. And it wasn't. So I'm sorry, Craig Hope, if I offended you, but fuck off.
Well, Jimmy, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, says it how it is. And like this channel, basically, we say it how it is, so no matter what. And look, I mean, guys, you guys have played a big part in the fan forum over the months. And, you share in this finalist award, basically, because, without you guys coming on here, there would be no fan forum on a Tuesday night. Now, Chippers, I know we talk about social media. It is a cesspit. There's no doubt about it. You've taken your amount of hammer on there, just like, well, pretty much we all have. But listen, it doesn't work, does it? Because if we've got to this stage and nobody gives a shit. So what's it? I mean, it must be good to see, from your point of view, a channel that you take part in actually, getting recognized.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations on it. It was quite convenient. I stumbled across this watching it over COVID and stuff like that, and yeah, it's been a good laugh, hasn't it? And it's been a good ride. Obviously, I'm not saying this is the last ever show, but it's like it's been a good laugh. This and it's just people with different opinions, as everybody's entitled to one, and we'll agree to disagree, and it's just all it is just a bit of banter, isn't it? That's all it is, and people seem to want to turn it into a rivalry. Other people want to turn into this, turn into that. All it is we're just people with opinions. Well, why can't we have them? You know what I mean? It's like they're allowed their opinions, so why can't we have ours? We support the same club. We should all. It's like going to the club and then having a debate with the person sitting next to you, having a debate with your dad or whatever about the same thing, because that's what it's all about. But people want to twist it and shit stir it, and end of the day, it's social media. Social media is just a fucking joke. So it's not real life. That's what I see it as.
It's not real life. No, it's not. But it does have its good points to be able to promote things like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And promote the shows and stuff like that. And like I say, the haters are always going to be there. The more successful we get, the more they'll come at us. But we've got a good, solid subscriber base. We've got loads of lovely people signed up to this family, and that's the way it is. And we always have each other's backs, and that's how it will always be. And this is what I mean. It's like doing these shows, whether it be the fan forum or with the other guys. It is like sitting in the pub just chat to your mates about football, and that's what we want from this channel. That's what we've always wanted. Lots of people have, a lot of the viewers haven't even met each other yet. The chat away when the shows are on is, because it's that kind of family-orientated channel. And yes, I do lose my rag at times, but that's my passion for the football club, and I ain't going to change how I am. So, people that are calling me an idiot and things like that for my reaction video on Saturday can go and stick their heads up their ass, as far as I'm concerned. It's what it is. Now, Francisco.
Idiot.
Yes.
Yeah, cheers, Jimmy, you twat. How are you doing out there in Puerto Rico? I know there's been a hurricane.
Well, getting back on our feet. This 5 years after the major catastrophe that was Maria, so it's hit us hard because the electric system was very fragile. So being hit against in such a short time is not good. A lot of people still without power, without water service. So I'm without power since Saturday evening, but thankfully nothing to lament on the personal side. Neither me nor my family, so that is always a positive. And we're a resilient bunch, so we'll get through this.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I know I got your email before saying you were stopping back at work, so you got to come on because there's no power at home.
Yeah, it's more reliable.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, obviously, from all of us, we hope everybody stays safe out there, and there's no real.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it a lot.
I know it's horrible when that sort of thing happens, and certainly.
By the way, you got my gears turning with the email, so get ready.
Well,
for some,
I know I did. We can't wait to see what comes back. So, just to let you know, I've asked Francisco to do some voiceovers for TTR Friday first. So some voiceovers for sort of Billy's beef and Danielle's rant and Shane by Stato and of course the game show, which will be Saint or No Saint. So looking forward to what he comes up with that. King of Qatar, how are you doing?
Not bad, mate. Still gutted about Saturday.
Yeah,
and angry.
Yeah,
but I've got used to it. I'm happy being on the show anyway, more than watching.
Good man. What paid you off more on Saturday?
Fraser, Almiron, Eddie Howe pissed me off as well with the subs because it was like for like again, and it was just that he just killed it in the last 20 minutes. As soon as I saw the two subs like for likes, with the two that came on are worse than the two players that came off. I thought that's it, we're done. I was happy. At some point, I thought they might end up scoring another goal here. So we got a point again.
And a lot of
I would have played Wood.
Yeah. Sorry?
I would have put Wood on. I would have took Fraser off, put Wood on, and moved Isaac to the left.
Yeah, I think a lot of
change something. Yeah, change something.
That's the annoying thing, isn't it? He didn't make any tactical changes to the players already on the pitch. I mean, Ryan, I know what you thought of it. I mean, people are banging on about, we had great possession and this and that, but we didn't do anything with the possession. And it very, very static in the final third to try. And I know we hit the post and the bar, but it was static, wasn't it?
You know what summed up that game was Ryan Fraser absolutely screwing up a pass, and then Isak has to go recover it back and run and tackle and win it back. I mean, could someone tell me what Ryan Fraser offers to his team? Because he's useless. I want him gone. People saying this past summer, to get rid of ASM and have Fraser in. Come on. Like, seriously.
People are going on about Ryan Fraser saying he had that shot that the goalkeeper saved, but what they fail to mention is the shot he had in the second half, which was easier to just put in the corner of the net, and he put it wide.
Where's the Ryan Fraser we bought that was second in assist behind Eden Hazard 2016-17? We're not seeing that, man. Like, it could be injuries, but I think I just don't like him more because I feel like he was overly praised last season for his work rate. But if the fans want to look at work rate, look at Miguel Almiron. The guy chases down balls, tries to win throw-ins for us, tries to win corners. He'll track back and win tackles. That's what working hard is. Not Ryan Fraser jogging around all the time, man.
Jack, I know sort of a lot's been said about Miggy. A few balls played down the right-hand side for him to try and whip first-time crosses in. And again, he's got no right foot. So by the time he turns back onto his left, plays it back to Trippier or Willock, whoever's backing him up, the move's gone, hasn't it? And that's really annoying.
It is, and I felt like some players on Saturday couldn't be asked at all. They just didn't turn up. I mean, all this stuff about maybe there's no music or something to pump players up. I don't think there should be wanting to pump players up. At the end of the day, they're on 100 grand a week. Why would they need pumping up to play a bit of football 90 minutes?
Yeah.
But, I mean, to be playing at that level, professional football, and to not be able to use your weaker foot is a bit worrying, if I'm being honest. Because really, at that level, you should be able to use your weak foot. And it's a shame because Miggy can be so good if he gets used to his weak foot. And our attacks can be so deadly. Because we know Miggy can be a good player when he wants to be. And he can take on players with these brilliant skills that we don't even know we can do. But it's a shame that Miggy can't use his weak foot. And I think from now on, he needs to be improving on that. I think these 2 weeks, I don't know if he's away with Paraguay. I think he is. But even with Paraguay, he needs to be improving on his weaker foot. Use his training sessions to improve on your weaker foot, and then you come back stronger with Newcastle and keep on improving. Because it's almost like he's not training on his weaker foot and he's just doing the same thing every single week, and it won't work for where we want to be this year. Because we're not going to want to stay middle table, will we? We'll want to fight for conference. We'll want to fight for Europa. Yeah. But if Miggy can't use his weaker foot, and pretty much Miggy's the only one we've got on that right-hand side, so if he doesn't improve, and our attacks aren't going to be as dangerous as we want them to be.
Indeed. Malcolm, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. Malcolm Taylor, fantastic achievement by all at the Toon Review. Congrats, great shows every week. Thanks, buddy. And Michael Marsden with a £60 super chat. There's no comment there, but thank you very much, Michael, as usual, for your donations to the channel. Of course, the chairman of the Toon Review anyway. So Phil Gow says, hi all. Phil, by the way, your shirt's on its way. There's been a massive delay in sending stuff out, but everything's gone today. Mugs, key rings, bottle openers, the whole shebang. I've sent a load of stuff out today, so hopefully you get that shortly, Phil. Ben's got his limited edition warm-up top. I haven't got mine yet. I don't know where the hell that's gone. I haven't had any updates at all. Jack says, me and Emma watching from our balcony in Portugal. Love you guys. Cheers, Jack. I hope you and Emma have a fab time out there. You deserve it, man. So enjoy it. Brett says, hey, boys, watching from Maui, Hawaii. How are the lads? Bill, fancy a live show from Maui one day? You know?
Yeah, I could do that. Bit of Hawaii Five-0 over there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The old...
Doesn't him from Fleetwood Mac live over there? What's he called? Mick Fleetwood? Doesn't he live over on Maui?
I think he lives on one of the smaller islands. I think, yeah, because he's got a really, really old car, which I think it was on Top Gear once, if I do remember. Alan says, well done, keep it up, Toon Review. Thanks, mate. Dean says, cheers for all the great videos and content. TTR family, much love from Northumberland. Baz says, I'm delighted for you, Paul, Billy, Daniel, and Alex, and the gang at the Toon Review, but I'm not surprised. You're simply the best. Thanks, Baz. Really appreciate that, mate. Good evening, Steve. Hope you're well. Tony says, penguin suit. No, it's not penguin suits. It's... I still can't think of what it says that the dress code is. For God's sake.
For sure.
What's the word I'm looking for, man?
Smugglers.
It might not even begin with a P, you know. I'm saying, here's me sitting thinking, it begins with a P, and it probably bloody doesn't. I'm desperately trying to find the website. Hang on. Right. Because it's bugging me now, to be honest. It really is bugging me. So I'm gonna find out what the hell. It doesn't begin with a P at all. It's cocktail. What's cocktail dress? I've never been to a do in my life like this. Is that shirt? Does anybody know what cocktail dress is?
Hawaii shirts, isn't it, and shorts and stuff.
Coat and tie.
I'm sure it's not, Billy. Francis will know.
Coat and tie.
Coat and tie.
Yep.
Underwear.
Well, obviously, Jimmy.
String vest.
Go dressed as Rapsy Nesbitt or something. As long as I don't want a dicky bow. I don't want to wear a dicky bow. No, I can see you in a dicky bow, Billy.
Absolutely no chance.
Alan, thank you for your £10 super chat, buddy. Well done, pal, and the gang. I suppose that might be Pal or Paul. I don't know. And gang, keep up the great work. Thank you very much for that. Tom says dress code posh, professional, pornographic. No, if it was pornographic, Billy would spend more than 95 quid to get there. Now that much. Mason, what would you do with the wingers at the minute? Because obviously these inverted wingers, I don't think they're working. And that was a good impression of a horse, mate. But I'm trying to get you to speak.
Wow.
Not good enough. I think the majority of them need replacing with quality European experienced players, like from like the big teams in like France, Italy, or Spain. There's one who I like because he played for Club Brugge, but he's been injured at Monaco. I would give him a chance. When I've been watching him, he looks a decent player. Why can we not just sell like Murphy or Fraser and get him in? Because he looks a decent player. Where I've seen him like when he was at Club Brugge, and
2 seconds, Mason.
Going back,
it's Mason. The boss is in the house. Let's all wave to the boss. Evening, Susan. There you go. Carry on.
But after Saturday, I think Fraser, Murphy, and I'll want one big last chance. But Murphy and Fraser just need to go because it just shows he's simply not good enough. And Longstaff can jump on the bus with him because he's not good enough as well.
I mean, it's not great, is it? I mean, Ryan, you just put some ideas up there. What were you saying in that message there?
Yeah, so I thought about it, like, kind of. I was talking with Alex about it on match day. I think for me, the 4-3-3 is good when you have good winners. Without ASM or Anderson, like we saw that brief stint, I think we have to drop the winners. I'd play a 3-5, 3-5-2 almost. I'd play Isak and Wood and Almiron right in behind, and then I'd play Trippier and like this is off the current squad that's fit. Say if we played tomorrow, Trippier, Target, and then back three of Bobman, Shar, and I'd put Lascelles because I think he's decent in the back three.
Really?
I'm going on. You know what? Remember at Stamford Bridge last season too, and like Bruno and Longstaff played. They played well. Like I'd like to see something like that again because if a formation doesn't work, like I get it right now, the squad isn't the best, but you have to switch it around and you got to swap winners around, swap formation. Like something has to happen with Howe because it's getting too predictable. Just bring on Jacob Murphy and Ryan Fraser and Chris Wood that offer nothing. Like, yeah, bring them on, but use them in a different role or switch up the team. Like, the most logical thing for me is if we're down or we're trying to win a game, you want to maximize numbers up front. So maybe take off a center back for an attacker as well. Like, it's just the same formation we saw against Bournemouth. And it doesn't help, too, that I don't think the team's used to playing low blocks. So we need better quality against that, too. I think Eddie Howe's tactics work well against the better Premier League teams because they play higher lines and we could counter attack them.
I mean, Billy, you were saying about you've been banging on a while now about the inverted wingers and trying to change things and, just try and come up with something during the game to, if he hasn't got the players on the bench, then try and do something with the players he's got on the pitch by, maybe changing it around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday, for instance, Joe Linton was marked out of the game by Billing, and the reason for that was because the right back was comfortable handling Fraser on his own. So you had to try and make them double up on someone. So to swap Almiron over that side and try and force him to double up on him would have given Joe Linton more space and it made us more dangerous. And just simple things like that he doesn't even seem to consider. And of course, then there's the option of him whipping the ball in first time from the left-hand side. Yeah, it's strange how he hasn't tried it when plan A isn't working. He doesn't seem to have a plan B, and it's concerning, quite frankly. It's Steve Bruce-esque because he only had one plan, and that was give it to Maxi. This is going the same way about it, unless he starts being a bit more flexible in game. I think we're going to start having a few more harsh words about Mr. Howe. I'm not criticising him because he's been fantastic for us, but against these sides that are going to come and park the bus, you have to have something different. And like Ryan says, you need to be a bit more flexible in game.
Yeah. I mean, Roy, what would you do? I mean, are you seeing anything that maybe you would change during the game as to make it a bit, just to give us an option? Because, I mean, you were talking there about bringing Chris Wood on earlier and maybe going like putting, Isak out to the left, or maybe even go to a 4-4-2.
4-4-2 could have worked. Even bringing on Manquillo and then moving Almiron to the left and pushing Trippier to the right wing. You've got loads of things to do, but then he takes off Fraser, brings on Murphy, who's worse, and then takes off Bruno, who he's not fit enough at the moment, so brings on Longstaff, worse, and the game went. And Longstaff kept falling on his ass every 5 minutes.
I mean, the last 20 minutes was dreadful, wasn't it? It really was. We just ran out of options. It was just pumping the ball into the box. They just ran out of ideas. They just didn't have that one player who could break them down. And that's maybe where Mr. ASM comes in, Jimmy.
Well, if he ever comes back, I mean, does anybody know anything more on his setback?
Yeah, he had a setback, but he's apparently going to be fit for Fulham.
So is Wilson.
So
So I'm really not gonna overreact about that shit that we saw last week. That it's just part of the process. I remember sitting here a couple of years ago making fun of the Arsenal fans because of what Arteta was doing, and luckily he had an owner that stuck by him, let him do things his way, get rid of the players that he wanted to get rid of, bring in his own players, and run his system. And patience pays off. Look where they're at now. And we're not going to get rid of this deadwood overnight. One, you have to be, as much as we may want them out the door, there's got to be a sucker on the other side to take them. And just give him time. This is we're going to have this. There's going to be some stinkers along the way. But at the end, with the financial backing, we will move these players out and we will get quality in.
Yeah.
And I want to judge Isak on when he plays with a fit Wilson. When we have our boys, all the front three, ready to go and healthy, then that's what I want to judge him. But yeah, sure, Saturday was a disaster. Wasn't a fun watch. But that's going to happen. You can switch people, switch positions, switch formation. But the bottom line is we don't have the quality. You're just, stirring shit in a blender. I mean, it's not going to, you can, wherever you put Fraser, he's going to stink. Wherever you put Murphy, he's going to stink. Wherever you put Almiron, he's going to run his ass off, but he's still not going to use his right foot. And I love Miggy. So get us to another transfer, a couple more, and then, but we'll be, at least we're not fighting relegation.
Yeah.
We're not West Ham. We're not Leicester.
Leicester. Whoa, dear me. Ian Toon says, all right, Paul and Billy, massive congratulations to everyone at the Toon Review for the nomination. Was hoping to jump on tonight, but it would have been my dad's 80th birthday today, and my head's not with it. No problem, mate. You just relax and enjoy the show, mate, and just raise a glass or two to your dad. Paul Gallant, good evening. Straffy says, congratulations, TTR, well deserved. Alec Coffee says, Chipper's rant on Sinclair's channel the other day was amazing. Did you have a rant, Chippers?
Yes, I did, because I was foaming with some of them players that, just the likes of Almiron, Fraser, Longstaff, they're just simply not good enough. Well, like Miggy's like fucking Forrest Gump with a football. He'll just run with it, then he'll be like, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
At times, and It's like Fraser's just not even in the game, and then when Longstaff comes on, he's just like a fucking oil tanker in midfield, where he's just literally heavy-legged, he's lead-legged, he's got no movement or mobility about him, and this is somebody who's in his mid-20s. I mean, come on, I was an East Spring chicken at that age, but even so, he's a professional athlete. He should be fully recovered from every injury he's had by now, because his injury was 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm sorry, but that new contract that Howe gave him is looking more and more dafter by the minute, because let's be honest, apart from that assist against Liverpool, what's he done this season in the 7 games that he's been involved in? He's done nothing. Almiron does nothing. I mean, on average, our 2 wingers that play on Saturday average 2 goals a season, and on average 1 or 2 assists a season. It's just not good enough. I mean, I don't care what people say. Yeah, Almiron might have a good work rate. He might have a smile and all that, but I want end product from me wingers. You look at, say, we were linked with Diaby in the summer. Look at his stats, and that's a fucking winger for you. That's somebody who knows where the goal is and can create a goal, not somebody who literally can't use both feet. When, in my opinion, I'm sure a lot of people agree that a lot of footballers now are 2-footed that can use both feet. I saw for the Nottingham Forest game, for example, Almiron in so many areas, if he used his right foot, he just scored some goals, or he would have created goals. He just refused to use it. And I just think,
there were so many
why?
opportunities to get first-time crosses in on Saturday, and he didn't, and it stopped the attack.
He's used it once in 2 games, and the time he used it was the time he should have cut inside the shot.
Yeah. It usually seems to me that's why I think, yes, we could have had maybe Chris on earlier, but if Chris would have been on earlier, he wouldn't have got any service anyway from them. So it makes no difference to me.
The crossing was still garbage as far as I'm concerned. The crossing was abysmal.
Again,
hitting the first man, keeper comes out.
Yeah. I'm going to say this is down to the neglect of the previous regime, because having Murphy as a backup player shouldn't be happening now. He got a stupid 5-year contract from the previous regime, which he didn't deserve. Yeah. Longstaff really should have been gone maybe a couple of years ago. I know he had an injury and everything, fair enough, but for me, if we wanted to progress, he wasn't good enough. Almiron, yeah, for all his hard work and all that, he's not good enough. Ryan Fraser, yeah, we can understand, because he had niggles and everything. He's had a full season, but now this season he looks like he's past his sell-by best. So now he'll be the next one to go. You've got players that, like, if you look at our subs bench, that was our literally for sale bench, because all them just aren't good enough. It's as simple as that. But again, that's going to take 4 or 5 transfer windows to clear another 5 to 10 players that simply aren't good enough. Simple as that. Whether people like it or not, they're just not good enough.
We're not about to shift Murphy because of that ridiculous contract, because it's just too expensive for people to buy.
Well, it's going to be a loan deal or pay him off at the end of the day. That's all they're going to do with Murphy.
Yeah.
Tangy says the Toon smooth operator in the bottom right. Rachel says she's just gone off for a fan to cool herself down. Hashtag Francisco sexy voice. Wow. Barbara says, congrats, Paul, Billy, Danielle, and Billy again, obviously means Alex, for making the final 8. Have voted last week. Well, Barbara, I don't know how you did that, because the voting wasn't open until midday today. So I'll stick the link in the chat again shortly, and you can go and vote. By the way, you can vote as many times as you want. You can vote as many times as you want. Just keep going back and voting for us, and that would be fantastic. Ross says, Ryan, on, nice to see you in the stripes, big lad.
I showed Roy this, but like when I got it, like it's the 95, 96. I got it from some guy from some guy from Malaysia. It's such a Newcastle swag. I love this shirt.
It's quality.
It's the best one.
Shirt. Geordie Toon for Life says, evening, Jimmy, my friend. Good to see you again. And yes, I backed you up about Craig Hope.
Yeah, I seem to win that argument today, according to my people.
Mate, I'm not surprised.
Big dopamine effect that you won an argument against a journalist.
Well, I was a former journalist, so let's not fight
okay.
man.
Nice.
Jules says, can I please give a mention to our heavenly family member, Dave Harrison? This is for you too. Absolutely, it is. There's no doubt about that. He's a big part of the rise of the channel, so no doubt. Absolutely. Rachel, take your time. Stand with the fridge door open. V says, Francisco, can you do your best Michael Buffer impression?
Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get ready to rumble.
That'll do. That'll do. I think Rachel's just fainted. Geordie Howeman says, Rachel, have a night off from modern and just watch the show. Or Francisco. Geordie Toon for Life says, Ryan, is that a beaver on your chin?
Oh my God.
V says, hey, Ryan has joined the Beardy Men. What's going on with it, Ryan? I mean, is that is there a certain young lady appeared in your life who likes the bit of?
Oh, I just started growing facial hair like 2 months ago, and like I find it makes you more defined. So, better look on me. I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't look like I'm 17, even though I'm like 22. So like, I look a bit older with it. Yeah. So
see, the thing is with Jimmy looks like he's got a Steve Harvey tash, doesn't he?
Yeah, I do. I do have a dirty Sanchez. That's what I was told today. So
I'm definitely not doing that for November.
I love Steve Harvey, by the way. I absolutely. I watch loads of clips over here of that family
hilarious,
feud. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He is a top guy. Yano says, hi, Jimmy. Still green screen in that sunny background whilst you're freezing your tush off in Alaska.
oh no, it was beautiful last week. Nice fall temperatures. And then all of a sudden, bam, back to 90 degrees for a week. I'm like,
oh, I feel for you, man.
No, humidity sucks. The heat's fine, but the humidity's terrible.
Yeah.
Francisco, you know all about that.
Oh, hell yeah. Yes.
Lots of people wishing you well, Francisco, out there after the storm. Tom says best wishes to everyone in Puerto Rico. Rachel, stay safe, Francisco. Geordie Howeman says we have 50-mile-an-hour winds and we all take cover. Yeah, I know. It's just a different world, really, isn't it? Cesare says hi, all. Apologies for being late. Well, that makes a change. Helping an old lady out of a tree and a cat crossing the road. Dear me. Hope things improve, Francisco. Good Michael Hope as well. Everyone's just having a chat. So, Jack, what would you have changed on Saturday then? If you were Eddie Howe, when you saw the playing like that, struggling to break them down, knowing what you had on the bench, would you maybe try and mix it up with the players that you already had on the pitch?
Well, you got to give Bournemouth credit where it's due. I mean, Bournemouth came ready, didn't they? They came prepared. I don't think we turned up, but you got to give credit to Bournemouth. They came prepared. They wanted to sit back and counter. And it does sometimes work, and especially with the defence. I mean, on my bloody live watch-along, as soon as Bournemouth scored, I said our defence has been pretty solid. So as soon as I said that, they scored. So a bit of unlucky there. But yeah, what I changed up, I think it's a bit of karma as well. Not buying, for example, even free agents to increase the good squad depth to take out the deadwood, such as Murphy, Longstaff. And I don't know why Elliot Anderson was in there, but I don't know what he gets ahead of Longstaff and Murphy for me all day long. But that just proves that our squad depth is so bad. If anything, it's probably one of the worst in the league, in my opinion. It's such a bad bench. It's championship quality bench. And I think what Eddie Howe has to do is to have players such as Maximin and Wilson out, key players, especially Maximin, key players out. You have to have a plan ready. You have to have a plan B. And I don't think we had a plan B on Saturday. And I think we just went out as normal. For example, like we were playing Maximin, and Fraser's not Maximin, let's be honest. Fraser's not Maximin. And Maximin's trying to do what Fraser's doing. And he's got 60 million striker next to him, 40 million midfielder behind him. And Fraser's just nowhere near that category. And we didn't have a plan B. And I think Eddie Howe next time, if, for example, Maximin does get injured or other players do get injured, such as Bruno, Maximin, we have to have a plan B. To go out, even away or even at home, we have to have a plan B to improve and count teams out, because that was not good enough on Saturday.
Absolutely. Just to let you know, everybody, that the link for the awards is now at the top of the chat. It is pinned there. So if you want to vote for the Toon Review, just click on that link. It'll take you to the voting website. You just look for the basically it says best club content creator. That's the one you need to go to for the Premier League. Just click down and you'll see the Toon review. So if you can click there and vote for us, that would be great. Wouldn't it, Billy?
Indeed. Absolutely. 100%. Get yourself down there.
Yeah, absolutely. C-Stock says, a perfect birthday gift, the Toon Review fan form. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Hope you're having a good one. Dean says, hopefully Eddie can work on the lads finishing in training. That's the only thing lacking this season, but I'm still happy. What have you made of Isak so far, Mason?
I think it's a quality young striker. You've seen it in Spain. The games he's played in and against the top teams. Just before he signed for Newcastle, he scored against Barcelona. I know Barcelona have been going through like crap with their finances, but we've got one hell of a young striker. I mean, the only player I remember, like, he's played for Dortmund, he's played for Sociedad. He's played for two quality teams, but he's coming into a team where it's slowly coming to getting the players that of caliber of himself, like progressing more. And obviously Premier League, this will probably be one of the best. He's played in Bundesliga, he's played in La Liga, now he's playing in the Premier League, he's played in the two quality leagues in the world, and he's coming in the Premier League, which is the biggest of a lot. So I think he's done really well considering he's slowly getting there.
His movement's superb, Roy, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, I made a point on the review show on Sunday night is saying that when you're live in the ground, it probably isn't picked up as much on the TV because that's focusing on where the ball is. But if you watch what Isak does, you know, the runs he makes, they're incredible. I mean, he's always on the shoulder of the defenders. He's coming deep. He's going wide. But for some reason, unfortunately, we don't have the caliber of player that can pick him out. And Gary makes a good point there, saying that one of our biggest losses at the minute is John Joe.
Yeah, because if John Joe was there, then Bruno will move more to number 10, basically. And he'll play those nice balls. But Willock was useless, Miggy worse, and Fraser was even on the pitch. So you can see how frustrated Isak was at some point in the game as well. I'm hoping when Wilson comes back, things will change a bit. Even Isak will drop it deeper a little bit. So, or maybe move to the left or the right. We'll see.
Yeah. Francisco, did you get to see the game?
Yes, I did. Hopefully, thankfully, I was before the power went out,
right.
So I got to not enjoy watching that. But you said something very important during the shorts that you went out today, and you know, we as fans, being part of being fans is complaining when we have to complain, you know, criticizing and praising when praising is due. So, yeah, we're in all our rights to, you know, crash on the players because of the performance they did. But there are a few things that we have to consider as well. Number one, in the case of Miggy, one thing, you know, some players are not good at something, no matter how much they practice. And I think it's up to the coaching staff to say, look, if you don't work in this, let's put you where you work. And emphasizing on keeping him on a right wing as an inverted winger when he is not good with his right foot, it goes against it. Besides, we are playing him on a position that is not his natural position. When we got him, he came from a 10. He plays a 10 for Paraguay. When we got him from Atlanta, he used to play a 10, drifting to the left in Atlanta. We are not playing him that way, and that's up to the coaching staff. If it were up to me on Saturday, I would have replaced Fraser for Wood. I would have gone to a 4-4-2, and I would have put Willock on the right, and I would have put Miggy on the left. And I would have played that way with the players that we got. Another thing we have to consider is we have 14 years of fixing to do, and we're thinking we're going to correct it in 2 windows?
Yeah.
For real? That's not good. And on the last point, guys, I don't know if you saw this. I got this. The information that I got says they got it from the Sun, and it says that we're speaking of wingers, that there's another one on our radar, Mikhailo Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk, a 21-year-old winger that supposedly we were also after. or in our sides, and there is supposedly a 20-some million pound offer on the table for him. So I just put that out there.
I mean, there was a story that I mentioned in the video today as well that we're still looking at Diaby, Billy, which is interesting because he hasn't had the greatest of starts to the season. We were really bigging him up in the summer, and he's only got 1 assist in something like 6 or 7 games so far this season. But we're in competition with Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and possibly Spurs as well for his signature. But that's where we're going to be, isn't it? If we want these big players, we're going to have to compete with the big teams.
Indeed. And is Diaby not performing because he's not happy where he is? I tend to think so because he's quality. He wants out of where he is, Leverkusen. And compete with them kind of clubs. We'll be on a Blackpool before we start, but I don't know. Maybe we can put a financial package that will reel him in and kind of encourage him to come and be part of the building project that we're doing. We're going to be in that kind of, hopefully, that realm of football in the next 12 to 18 months. So, we've got plenty of things to encourage him with.
Billy, on that point that you're just saying, quickly.
Buddy, I've just got a £5 super chat in from Toon Dave. Keep up the good work, team. Voted in the awards. Best of luck and your cocktail dress, Paul. Just make sure you shave your pins. Toon Dave, kiss my ass. But thank you for your £5 super chat. Sorry, Francisco, go ahead.
No, sure. It's on the point that Bill just made. Wouldn't that be worrisome if he's not performing because he's unhappy there? Wouldn't I say something about the character of that player?
Possibly.
That would concern me. I mean, we've been looking at some great players, and yes, we're going to be in competition for great players with great clubs. But one thing has differentiated us has been getting the right character players.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's something more important or equally important to the ability of the player.
Yeah.
Generally, these flair players are the ones that are going to throw hoofs. If there are to be players that throw hoofs, it'll be the flair ones. I don't know if Diaby. I'm sure Diaby thinks he should be playing at a higher level, maybe in a better quality league. And if he wanted to leave in the summer, he's not been allowed to. No, I'm not excusing it, but I'm surmising that would be the reason why.
No, I mean, look, you never know. You never know. I mean, obviously, Leverkusen as a team aren't performing. So he may be doing his usual stuff, but he hasn't got the caliber of players around him to finish off. I haven't seen much of Leverkusen this season. I do obviously follow them as my German team, but I haven't seen a lot.
Let's not forget Isak was in the same boat last season, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, very much so, yeah. Foxy says, am I hearing the reason we didn't win Saturday is because Miggy didn't use his right foot? Miggy has been good most games this season. Weren't people mourning for him being subbed off against Palace now this? No, I don't think so, Foxy. I think basically what I'm trying to say from my point of view is there was at least 7 times on Saturday I counted that he got played in where he could have whipped the ball straight in on his right foot, and he hasn't got one. So, of course, he was turning back and then having to lay the ball up to Trippier or Willock or whoever's coming in to support him. Now, what I would have liked to have seen, and I think a few other people would have liked to have seen, is instead of the inverted wingers, push them onto each side on the good side. So push Miggy onto the left, and when he's played in, he can whip a ball in with his left foot. And the same goes for the other side. Instead of having them on the wrong foot where they can't get a cross in straight away, it's given time for the defenders and the rest of the team to get back and defend as a unit, rather than when they can whip the ball in first time, it creates havoc in there. I mean, Jack, Miggy, I mean, he's an enigma, isn't he? Because 1 minute, I mean, he is working really hard. He's playing well this season, but it's just, I get frustrated that he hasn't got a right foot. Professional footballers, the time they've got to practice, get on for an extra hour, just hitting things with your right foot.
Yeah, but throughout the match, I think maybe Fraser or Miggy could have switched a little bit. Maybe put Miggy on the left for a little bit, maybe half an hour, just to see how things go. I think that would have been a good idea because Miggy's just left up there. And like you said, Paul, when he gets the ball, he runs a little bit and that's it. And loses the ball and the other team might counter-attack.
Right, 2 seconds, Jack. Francisco, I believe you've got to leave us. They're about to shut down the power plant. So, listen, mate, stay safe. Keep in contact via email, buddy. And hopefully we'll get you back on next week. But stay in touch, mate.
It's been a pleasure. You take care, guys.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Nice night, buddy.
Good night, man. Best of luck to Francisco. He's such a lovely guy as well as having the most. Well, he has one of the most sexiest voices I've ever heard. It has to be said. I mean, it's like. Do you remember that program back in the day, Billy, the Midnight Caller? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like the radio host on a night time. He had the like, hey. It's sort of as soon as you hear his voice, it's like, oh. I mean, Rachel's I think just passed out. So bless her.
She's not been seen for a while, has she?
No, I think she's gone.
She's having the life braces, isn't she?
She is, yeah. Jack, carry on what you're saying, mate.
Yeah. Why don't they stay an extra hour after training? I mean, they've got all day. I mean, it's not like they're rushed to get 9 to 5 to work, have they? I mean, every single day they've only got about maybe 5 hours of training a day. Well, with Eddie Howe, like 7 till 5. So, but that's their job. That's what they're being paid to do. So it won't kill you to spend another hour after training just to work on your weaknesses, because at the end of the day, it makes you a better footballer. And if anything, yeah, it makes you a better footballer. And that's all I've got to say on it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, something else he could have done. He could have put Willock out wide right and put Miggy in a position that's more, kind of
number 10.
Number 10. People are screaming to hear.
Just for 10 minutes. Just try it.
Miggy likes to go around. Miggy likes to explore places. Miggy likes to explore the pitch and create stuff. And I don't think he's been allowed to do that on the right wing.
Indeed. Tangy makes a good point, and we're too predictable and we're being found out. Now teams might just park the bus because we haven't got any creativity. Now, I think, Jimmy, that might be a little bit different come when we've got Wilson and DSM back.
Yes, surely, but as of now, it doesn't seem like we have a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, I hate to use Southgate as an example because Howe's a much better manager than Southgate, but you got to. I mean, Mourinho, if it wasn't working after 20 minutes, he's pulling people off, switching everything up. He had a plan A, B, C, D, and I think, yes, we're at a lot of lack of creativity right now, but I'm hoping that'll all change when all our guns are blazing.
Mm-hmm. Mary says, evening everyone, hope all is well. Sorry late, being under the weather, but glad to hear of your nomination. Well done. Love and respect to the Mods and Mrs. Toon Review. Thanks, Mary. Ryan, we clearly don't have the quality to come off the bench, and that's what a lot of people said at the start of this season. At the end of the transfer window, when we didn't get any more players in, people were worried that we certainly don't have the quality to come on the pitch to what's coming off. And the 5 substitutes is really going to hinder us, because I'm struggling to think when we last used all 5, because we don't have the players to do it. It's as simple as that. So what would you have done different on Saturday?
Well, I think it goes back to my earlier point of, the options might not be the greatest, but you kind of got to mix and match a bit. Like a 4-4-2 with Isak and Wood up top, with Joe Linton on the left mid, Almiron right, Willock and Bruno in midfield, or a wing-back system. Like, something's got to give, because the other thing as well is, I know Eddie Howe loves his inverted wingers, but I feel like inverted wingers aren't the greatest when you're playing against like a park the bus team. It's good when you come up against a team that's pressing you, and you could do quick 1-2s, get your way up, and start progressing the ball forward more. And like, what's the point of 5 subs for us almost? Because it's almost like what's that term, like damage control kind of thing, rather than actually bringing on 5 quality players and actually like change the game and maintain the same level. It's no point. But like, the whole winger thing, like, it is frustrating, because you know me, like, I've been patient like throughout the window, but like now it's time. Like, we've been I don't care if like some of these players haven't been linked. Like we missed out on a few of Chelsea's winners. Luis Sinistera, people like Maxwell Cornet. We missed out, and they could have been a difference this week. But I understand too, like it's only been 2 windows, and to get rid of and upgrade, it's not all about the money we'll spend. It's about the amount of windows we'll have to get to that level we want to reach and what we aspire to be.
Yeah. Abs is not happy with you, Billy Bob Coleman.
I saw it.
Okay.
Totally disagree with these flexible formations. It is a process disgrace to compare Howe with Cabbage. Billy.
The whole point of it was because it wasn't working. We needed to try something different, and Eddie Howe doesn't do that. He keeps on doing the same thing. I agree. He's not in the same quality as Steve Bruce in the slightest, but they both seem to have a lack of a plan B. That's the only comparison I'm making.
But I think,
but on the contrary, we're praising Bournemouth for playing a formation. You know, park the bus and play on counterattack that we criticize Bruce for. So I don't like those tactics. That's not
well, yeah. But the difference is Bournemouth are a small side with 11,000 fans. We're a side with 52,000 fans with a massive history. Bournemouth aren't. That's the difference.
Promoted time aside too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, you're a Premier League club. You shouldn't have to be parking the bus. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
no, I think that's what the guys are saying, though, Jimmy. Is like, you know, Bournemouth. They, you know, all credit them. They came with a game plan. They came without a doubt to get a point, and they could have gone away with 3. I think, you know, they were very good on the break at times and caused us a few problems. So well done to them for that. But I think at the end of the day, we'd have probably been looking at the Palace game and the Bournemouth game, Roy, and thought to ourselves, right, this should be 6 points, shouldn't it? I know I know VAR scuppered us against Crystal Palace, but it was the same sort of story in that game, is that we couldn't convert the possession.
We couldn't. I think we had 35 shots total, and maybe 16 or 17 of them on target, and we only scored 1 from a penalty spot. So the finishing is bad. Creativity is non-existent. We used to. It shows now, even with Bruce, when we used to just hoof the ball to Maxi. We still depend on him now. He is still our best player, and we depend on him because he's missed 4 games now. We haven't won any of them. Nothing happened. I mean, Isak's great, but he's not getting service, and it's frustrating for him as well. And for the rest of us, we can't see. You're not going to make the best out of him without any service. You remember that ball when Fraser missed it, and they had to run back and chase it and do a free kick. Yeah,
I think that was really frustrated. Really, he was frustrated because he was trying to do too much on his own because nothing was happening for him. And I think, you know, that's the problem. But I don't think he'll have that problem once Bruno's further forward, once ASM's back on the pitch, and Callum Wilson is. Because I think if I was Eddie Howe, and you know, you guys can agree or disagree, but if I was Eddie Howe and he had all those fit, there is no doubt for me our front 3 should be Wilson through the middle, Isak, and ASM on the sides.
Yeah.
You know, the pace there is frightening.
But if I'm Bournemouth and I'm coming out, I'm looking at the lineup, and just remember, they did get thumped by Liverpool, but they do have 2 wins. And the fact that we're, wounded at this time, I just think I would have had more of a go, because we, even at full strength, we're not going to put 9 goals on you. I just thought they should have came out, and then maybe that's just down to an inexperienced manager. I mean, that's all I did. But if I looked at that Newcastle team, I was like, this is our chance to get them, because next time around, transfer window, injuries, they're not going to, they're going to be an improved side if we don't stand a chance down at our little playhouse that we're.
So I mean, look, this is interesting from Ken. He says, one for the panel. I love Eddie, but is it a jobs for his mates? Richie passed it, Fraser's legs have gone, Wilson constantly injured, and Eddie wanted to hang his hat on them for all season. Also, Murphy's just crap. I think it's a little harsh. I think it's all he's got at the minute. That's the thing. You know, like we've been talking about earlier, I think it's a case of, you know, a few more transfer windows to get players in and out the door. Some people, you know, his hands are tied with regards to some of the players, i.e. Murphy, who was given a ridiculous contract, Chippers.
Yeah, people need to realise that this is all where we are. Like, the mess that Eddie Howe's got is down to the previous regime. It's as simple as that, and they deserve all the hammer. Eddie Howe and the new owners don't deserve the hammer because they've been ultimately dealt with a shit card because we had to spend so much on a new defence because the current one wasn't good enough and it was just shite. So we had to tie that. That's been tightened up. But, you know, as the saying is, Rome wasn't built in a day. You've got to do it stage by stage, you know. We're not like when Chelsea or Man City had it when there was no FFP there and they could spend what they want. We've got FFP, unfortunately, preventing us from doing that. Whether that's just to help the big six or not, you'll probably say it is. But then, obviously, you've got to do it bit by bit. And obviously, the next stage for us now is the attacking side of things. It's quite clear. Can I just say as well, we've only lost 6 league games so far this calendar year. 6 since December.
Yep.
I mean, that 6. Remember under Bruce, we couldn't win a game in 21. So people need to also put that in the perspective that we're going the right way. But as we've said earlier, it's going to take 4 to 5 transfer windows to clear out Deadwood and bring in the upgrades. I mean, I look at, say, Maddison at Leicester. He's been outstanding since the transfer window's closed, and I think he's playing to get out of there, mate, because you can just say after games he just looks like he's so pissed off with himself there. I just think we've got to, I will literally be going to Leicester all the time now and saying, there's money. Just get him in so that on January the 1st he's here, so we can just go, yeah. I mean, that's what will happen.
Yeah, I have a feeling Maddison it will be a goer in January.
Can I just say another thing about the takeover too? Like,
yeah,
I wasn't watching football. I was too young at the time. You guys are a lot older than me, but I'm pretty sure Chelsea and Man City squad, when they got the takeover, was better than ours, right?
I'm not sure Man City's was. Chelsea,
I don't think
Chelsea was.
Man City won relegation. Man City had 2 years of a relegation battle before.
I've heard people say that when they had the takeover, they're a mid-table team.
No,
they went to Middlesbrough last game of the season and got beat 8-0 by them, something stupid like that.
I've seen that result. Yeah, okay.
That was under Sven, wasn't it? When Sven was manager,
Sven was there,
absolute disaster.
The point is too, or no, never mind. Go on, Paul.
It's just, I know, like, you know, Max is there. Fans are fickle. If the results don't go our way, everyone will start beating the drum. It's a couple of games. You can't polish a turd. And we've still got at least 4 in our squad. It'll be addressed. It will be. Yeah. But look, as I said earlier in today's video, you know, if Newcastle go out there and play poorly, I'll see it. And you know what is it with the fans that you can't dare say that we were poor, and you know, and people turn on you because you're saying how it was. You know, nobody can tell me that was a good game on Saturday. It was dross.
Eddie Howe said they were rubbish as well.
He did.
Eddie Howe said they were rubbish.
These fans look up to role models, like different type of role models that are just totally positive rather than just say how it is. I'm glad that I've watched people like you to teach me to be real with everything. And
there's no point. What's the point of doing a channel and sitting in front of a camera and with blinkers on saying, "Oh, everything's rosy in the garden"?
You'll get identified as
stupid.
Fake. You'll get identified.
Of course
as being
you do.
Fake.
You know, what's the point? If you're here to talk about your club, it doesn't mean that I want Eddie Howe out. It doesn't mean that I think Newcastle United are crap. We had one off day. We played poorly, and it was an off day. And I said it, and I thought certain players were shite, and they were. You can't tell me that Fraser was anything better than shite. Murphy, Longstaff, you know, the usual culprits. So I'm going to say it.
You know what's the worst is when
we needed something to take Billing away from Joe Linton, and by bringing Miggy off wasn't the way to do it. He should have put Miggy over on that side, forced him to double up on him, then Joe Linton would have been free. It's not hard. It's simple stuff. But Eddie just seems to want to take players off and put worse players on in the same position, do the same things. That's not going to work. It's not going to work with the better players.
Jack, what were you doing in your watch along? Were you sitting there saying, "Oh, we're playing well," or were you like us and thinking, "Jesus Christ"? It was frustrating, if anything else.
It was frustrating as hell. I just had to try and keep enjoying it, even though I really wasn't enjoying watching the match on Saturday. It was kind of being a throwback to watching the Spurs game when we got battered 5-1. Frustrating as hell. I mean, but you got to sit there and you got to watch it and you got to be a true supporter to your football club. But I also knew from when we scored the penalty, it's so good, the fans getting riled up and stuff. But I knew in the players, I didn't see us even scoring one more after that. I really didn't. And I tried to make myself believe that we could come back, but I didn't really think we could. But I just felt like some of the players just couldn't be arsed on Saturday and they wanted to go home. And they shouldn't be feeling that way because, bear in mind, they're so great. They should be so grateful. They're playing in the Premier League, one of the greatest leagues in the world. Mm-hmm. And to play like that on Saturday against a team that's just been promoted, and no disrespect to Bournemouth, but it's Bournemouth. And we're Newcastle United. We're fighting for Europe and they're fighting for relegation. That we should, and especially at home as well. If it was away, maybe it'd be a bit different because our away record is terrible, but our home record is brilliant. And especially at home, we've got that massive advantage. I feel like we should be absolutely thrashing Bournemouth and sitting them down and focusing on the next game. But we made it hard for ourselves and made it way, way harder than it was supposed to be. And yeah, it was frustrating on my watch along. And maybe I was too generous on my player ratings, but it was frustrating.
Well, we certainly weren't on Sunday night. That's a certainty. Dark by Design says, "Is Howe under pressure if we fail against Fulham and Brentford? Not sure how ruthless our owners will be, but we've seen before these money clubs don't mess around."
Don't believe that. Don't believe the TalkSport headlines, i.e., what they did against Bournemouth after the title was something about is Eddie Howe under pressure.
Thank God we've got Maxime.
Stuff like that literally gets to fans' minds, and they start thinking, "Oh, I'm going to change my opinion on Eddie Howe just because the bigger mainstream companies or rival fans are saying, oh, you got to get rid of Eddie Howe." Like in the watch along, I saw it all. There's quite a few people that said Howe out, and I saw one guy said Tuchel in. I mean, come on.
Oh God.
No. In my opinion, without Howe, we would have struggled to stay up because
we'd not be in this league if it wasn't for Eddie Howe.
I'll tell you what,
the signings that Eddie Howe made that kept us in the league.
It's the FIFA kids,
big marquee signings. Yeah. It was buying the right players who wanted to fight for the badge. Dan Burn included, because he knows how to fight for the badge. These sort of players that would fight for the badge and are willing to keep this club up, and the right personalities for the dressing room. Because we know Eddie Howe loves a good settled dressing room, like giving players equal wage, so there's no bad blood between each other. And that's what we needed from Eddie Howe. These sort of signings to keep us up and keep the mood right, and it worked. And without Eddie Howe, I don't think that would have happened. Because bringing in the likes of Ranieri, I think he just would have, like, with all the money we had, he would have brought in loads of money. And
but Ranieri's not the tactician that Eddie Howe is, and not the sort of disciplinarian that he is, and we'll see that. We will.
Yeah.
Tangy said there's a new set of real strikes announced for October the 1st when we play Fulham. I don't think that's going to make any difference. I think the game will be on because the train strikes have been announced in plenty of time. Therefore, alternative transport can be arranged. That's what they'll come up with. It won't be anything. There won't be a cancelled game. I guarantee it, because there was a rail strike on against Brighton and they didn't cancel it. So, they made our fans travel downwards. So it's not the be all and end all. I think a lot of people will travel in buses and cars anyway. Nothing stops the Toon Army going away at the games. That's a certainty, whether there's trains on or not. So I don't think it's going to have any impact. Gary says Forest have no problem with squad depth. They bought nearly 2 new teams in the transfer window. Yep, and look where it's got them. They aren't exactly playing very well at the minute either.
I mean, think about it. You bring 21 people in, but then you've also got 11 another starting 11 above that. So we got a feel for the other players who are going to get dropped into the under 21s or the the lower. Like, they're thinking they're going to get a place in the Forest squad, but they're not, because they're probably just getting dropped if they're not good enough. So it's, in my opinion, it's poor from Forest that.
Yep. Get voting, peeps, says Rachel. Yeah, if you just joined us, just to let you know that the Toon Review has been voted as one of the finalists in the what's it bloody called again? The Football Content Awards 2022. We have been nominated as a Best Club Content Creator. So if you click on the link at the top of the live comments, and you'll see various categories there. If you go to Best Club Content Creator, Premier League, click down and you'll see the Toon Review. So if you'd like to vote for us, we would highly, highly appreciate that. I know a lot of people have already, but you can vote as many times as you want. It doesn't end till the 9th of October, so plenty time, and we'll push it as much as we can. You never know. You just never know. But we're proud to be in the top 8 anyway, out of all the thousands and thousands of podcasts that are out there. To be in the top 8 for that category is absolutely incredible. It really is. But to go that extra step further would be mind blowing. I think it's fair to say. But we'll see what happens with that. Spacebar says it's okay to have a plan B if you have the players to change to a plan B. Sadly, we don't have that yet. It may take a while for us to get that level of competition in.
We had time in the summer transfer window. We wasted like a month.
I think we do have, I get where Spacebar's come from, but I also think that, there is an opportunity, Billy, to change it on the pitch, isn't there, with the players we've got? You change formation, you change the tactics a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to do that. You could like I said earlier, you could have swapped Willock with Almon and let Almon have a floating role in the middle of the park. You could have put Almon on the left and Fraser on the right if needs be. Just anything to get the double protection on him and get the play away from Joe Linton, because Joe Linton was non-existent because Billing had him in his pocket. He was just sat on him the whole game.
I think what didn't help Billy. Oh, sorry. I think what didn't help, players like Isak, Joe Linton, and Target, they're all around Ryan Fraser, right? As soon as he's around, that affects other players too.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that was where the all broke down. Really was Ryan Fraser. I don't know. Just change it within the players you've got on the pitch, because the players on the bench ain't going to do anything. So you've got to do it with the players you've got on the pitch, and I don't know, he seems reluctant to do it. But he knows better than me. He sees them all in training, so I'm guessing they all perform well in training. Otherwise, you wouldn't put them on, would he? But they've not done it in the league so far. The likes of Murphy, Longstaff, same every week, isn't it?
I don't understand the criticism that Willock received. I'm struggling to understand why he's been made a scapegoat. For me,
I think he's been good.
The one person that's been pressing forward. I think it's honestly his persona. The way people see him, like as if he's
his body language,
but that's just the way he is.
Yeah.
But Roy, what did you make of Botman being left out?
I was shocked, but some people said he was injured, but
he wasn't.
He wasn't,
because Eddie Howe's come out and said that he left him out because he wanted a little bit more of leadership and experience, and that's why he went with Dan Burn. And he said that Botman is going to be an outstanding player for this club. However, Byrne got the nod at the minute.
Yeah, so we spent 40 million in the summer to put him on the bench. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. He could have. He's better on the ball as well, which will help the guys in centre midfield. So in distribution, did he keep? Maybe he was trying to use Byrne for the set pieces because he's taller and he always goes to the far post, and that didn't work. He hasn't scored.
I haven't seen this in a while at all, but I've never seen a center back overhit such a pass to a fullback. Like he was, it was like it was like rockets on his boots or something. He's launching the ball. It's like, calm down, just.
he was almost as bad as Fraser. I mean, Fraser was the worst one. And then
I know Dan Burn made a few good tackles that game, but I don't think he was that good that game because it was just his ball movement and progression that was just. It was too much and not fast enough.
I think. Listen, Fabian Schär wasn't great either. By the way, I mean he probably had his poorest game this season. His passing was wayward.
Yeah.
He lost the ball a couple of times, and he's one of my favorite players. Did
you see him towards the end when we were fighting for another goal, and he's just outside, just about where he shot in the Nottingham Forest game. And he went for it again. I mean, yeah, if we're 3-0 up, go for it. I don't mind. But when we're 1-1 fighting for a goal here for 3 points, don't just boot it into Elise's end. It's just
Absolutely.
no thinking behind what he was doing on Saturday, and it's really, really annoying me.
I'm sure there's some people criticizing Trippier too, but I think he was our best player that game because everything had to go through him. And the thing is,
Yeah.
like, I think he had like 15 or so crosses, right? Whether you're a fullback or not, you're not going to get every single one of them. It's not going to be 100% success rate.
Mhm.
I
And
counted numerous times.
what's worse is that it only came from him creating chances. Where's Ryan Fraser putting crosses in?
But what about the slow build-up as well? I mean, the centre-backs had the ball, and they were taking 2 or 3 touches before they'd knock the ball out wide to Target or Trippier, who was standing in acres of space.
This is it. It was
I
too
counted
slow
numerous
build-up.
times. Trippier on the right hand side going here, 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 even putting his arms out that wide, and he passed
Wasn't
it to
getting
Willie
the ball.
Fraser,
Yeah.
and then Fraser loses it, and it's just and then we're back on the back foot, and when you could have played in Trippier down the line, crosses in, and possibly could have had a goal, but no, it's just the lack of awareness from the defenders again, and the lack of thinking, and the amount of time we're taking on the ball to allow Bournemouth to get back into position, into defensive positions, and boom, and it's hard, and it's even harder for us to attack, let alone get a goal.
Yeah.
And we know Bournemouth, we know they were on the back foot all the time, and it was
They were trying. What they were trying to do is get them to come out, but they weren't. So there was no point doing it.
And the point there as well is the inverted wingers. You take an extra touch or two, and Bournemouth all of a sudden are back in position.
Yep, exactly.
Defensively.
That's where you want to swing a quick cross in. And to be fair, that's what Isak would probably love. He'd thrive on is those early balls into the box that you can get on the end of instead of, they're having to turn and go back, which means our, forwards are having to then come back again and try and make another run when it shouldn't be the case because they should be firing them balls across. Ab says teams park the bus against the best teams, so that would be a good sign if teams park the bus. Absolutely. If teams are coming to St James's Park and parking the bus, that's more of a compliment to us in the way we've turned things round. So you're right with that. Mary says, I was a kid when Midnight Caller was on. Oh, so was I. Well, kid-ish. Billy, you're a liar. Malcolm says, I love the dedication from a great young player like Botman, stepping away from his national duties to concentrate on his career with Newcastle. He has to be starting all the time if fit. Now, I've heard a few people say that this will risk his international career. I don't think so, because I think that the powers that be with Holland, will look at that and think, right, he's moved to the Premier League, one of the biggest leagues in the world. The pace of the league is completely different. Certainly Louis van Gaal will understand because he's been there, so he'll understand what it's like. And that he's a very, very young man going to a new country and next. I know he's played in France, but now it's a completely different kettle of fish playing in the Premier League. And he's decided that he wants to take that time out of international football to get himself settled, learn more about the Premier League, learn a bit more under Eddie, and then go from there. And I think it's a good decision, Chippers.
Yeah, I think he wants to cement himself as the number one centre back here, and I think it's important for him to adapt to the area, adapt to the Premier League, just basically get to know his surroundings. And again, regarding him not playing on Saturday, I do not know why he wasn't played because when I've watched him this season, he's literally the person that starts the attacks because he's quick out on possession. The times I've seen him on the ball, he's like almost a midfielder at times. You remember when Lejeune used to do it, where he could spray a pass diagonal, and he's like that, but he's better because he's quicker. He's literally he knows where to pass forward, and it's just like Burns a good defender, but he's not a forward-thinking defender. He's a defensive defender, and Botman's both. He can defend and can get attacks going, and that was another thing on Saturday. As you say, it was just sluggish. It was, the passing was way off, and I'm like as I said, it's just God, it's over. And yeah, but as you say on Botman, it's just I think it's important for him now with his age as well to get used to where he is. And this might benefit him because he might not go to the World Cup now, so it might benefit us him being here for being here for the whole of the World Cup time to get so he doesn't get injured or anything like that. So touch wood, it's only going to benefit us.
The majority of our squad's going to benefit, especially the ones even going. Like, who's really going to start for the World Cup out of our players? Probably Trippier, Pope, and Schär. Bruno's a squad player for Brazil, and no one else really gets into any other nations. or aren't in
He's
the
up.
World Cup.
Did Sweden
Sweden
qualify? Did they?
no,
No,
Sweden
no,
aren't at the
Sweden.
World Cup.
That's great.
Switzerland
better.
also shall be there,
Yeah.
but Abs, says this show has been more negative than the Wolves game pre-takeover. I don't think so, Abs. Listen,
There's a lot of
again,
negatives.
I'll go to my point. We're talking about how we improve from a disappointing performance against Bournemouth. Like I said, me and certainly the other guys on here, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. The world's full
Better
of
luck next
unicorns.
time.
It's not like that. All we're discussing on here tonight is what we would have done to change it. It's not negative. It's just constructive stuff about what we would do as fans to try and beat Bournemouth instead of just changing things like for like. You know, that's all we're talking about. I mean, how is that seen as? I don't understand. You know, what are we supposed to do? Sit and say, oh, well, you know, the grass looked lovely on
That's
Saturday,
probably
or
one
it
of
was
the
a
most
nice blue sky.
overused like fan comments.
did.
Why are you negative? Like,
It's not negative. It's just constructive stuff about how we
It's
how
just
we beat Bournemouth.
lazy statements nowadays when I hear that.
Yeah.
Does Abs, as I've just said, did Abs not hear what Eddie Howe said after the game? He said our levels weren't at it and it was unacceptable. So is he calling Eddie Howe? Is Abs calling Eddie Howe the same as us, negative? When he was the manager?
Yeah. All we're doing is just discussing what we would have done as fans to change it. And the, you know, Abs, come on, you know that some of the players aren't very good. You know, you know that. But we're not going to sit here and say it was good because it wasn't. And all we're doing is looking back at the game, seeing what we would do to change things to beat Bournemouth. You know, and it's there for everybody to see because he didn't change anything. He went like for like. Nothing was changed tactics-wise. Players weren't, you know, we didn't go to a 4-4-2 or we didn't go to 3 at the back or whatever to try and win the game. It was just the same old, and that's what we're trying to discuss. Sean says Eddie needs time to build. Look, when Fergie took over at Manchester United, it takes time to get rid of Miggy or Fraser and Murphy, which, if they perform, will be sold. Well, Gary says, didn't they say at the beginning it was a 5 to 10 year plan? Yep. They did. But if we play bad, I'll say it. When you look at the bench on Saturday, most of them were first-team players at the start of last season. That's how far we've moved on. Chippers is spot on with his comments. Jesus, I think that's the first time anybody's actually said that. Ab says, this is more than saying we were poor. Howe has been ripped apart.
What? Fuck off,
compared
man.
with Cabbage and saying he has no plan B. What will happen
earlier.
if we don't beat Fulham? I dread to think. Right, I've not once said on here that I'm ripping Eddie Howe apart. I'm saying that he could have changed it. That's not ripping him apart. That's just saying he could have changed it. He could have changed a few players around, made a difference, but he didn't. But Eddie's going to learn just as much as anybody else as well. It's always a learning curve.
I actually think
doubt
Fulham
about
away
that.
will help us. I think because Fulham ain't going to park the bus at home against us.
Oh, absolutely.
You went to the game. You went to the game. Was there any Eddie Howe outs? Because I trust those more opinions than social media, Twitter troll accounts.
Yeah.
There wasn't one single. I didn't hear a single call for Eddie Howe.
Exactly.
If anything, it was Eddie Howe's Black and White Army that they were singing most of the game. So, yeah, it's just the way it is. Unfortunately. Abs is listening to this tonight, where I would say Howe will be under pressure. He's not under pressure at all. Listen, saying that, every manager in the Premier League is under pressure, and you can't tell me that there isn't one. You know, every single game that they, as a manager of whatever football club it may be, will be under pressure. There's no how will feel the pressure if he doesn't get any more wins, Jack. He'll feel it.
Yeah, because it's their job to keep the club in the Premier League. That's why there's so much pressure on the manager, because they're the ones getting the players in, building the players up, getting them ready for the weekend, and really keeping them in the Premier League. So there's a lot of pressure on managers, and until someone's been in a situation where you're a manager, you're on your own in front of 50,000 people, trying to keep your club in the Premier League, keep them going, especially from where we've been from. There's a lot of pressure on that, and I don't think people realise it as much as what Eddie Howe was going through and stuff like that. There's a lot of pressure for being a Premier League manager. I bet there is. I wouldn't really know, but I think there is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's...
Sorry, go on, Jimmy.
I don't think he's under pressure, but what I do worry about, especially after this season's over, there's going to come a crossroads where the Eddie Howe way is going to run into the PIF way. And as we already seen with Live Golf, the Saudis do not play for second. They're not patient, and they do not play for second. And whatever it takes, they're going to do. And that's my only worry is, okay, we've done it, your way. We want to kind of maybe give you a little nudge here, maybe kind of push things along. Even if we finish 10th, I think Amanda, Miradad, Jamie, fan base, everybody will be ecstatic. EIF will be okay. Good season, but okay.
Chip, is you okay there?
Yeah, I'm just clicking through the channel. I'm just clicking through the channels, and there's Christmas
You look
films on.
you look like you're amazed by something.
I know.
I'm just
Right.
staggered.
Those Christmas films, Chip, is where the plumbers come out to fix the dodgy.
No, not that ones.
Yeah. Right. That is the end of Fan Forum for tonight. Thank you so much to everyone that's joined us. Thank you to everybody that has voted in the Football Content Awards. That will be going on and on and on. You can get the links on the Facebook group, the links on the Twitter page as well. So go and give us a vote. Keep voting. Keep going. Every couple of minutes, just go back and vote again. Think, I've got 2 minutes. I'll go back and vote. Let's see what Jack.
Seeing though there's no Newcastle Premier League predictions, can we do an England prediction?
Well, we may as well because Billy will be giving live commentary of the game on Friday night, and me and Alex will be doing a dual commentary. So Alex will be like the Gary Neville of the Toon Review as a co-commentator on Monday for the England game. So that should be interesting. But do join Billy Bob Coleman on Friday night for that one as well. We do have a show on Thursday night as well, of course, but we just haven't decided what kind of show we're doing yet. It's probably going to be like a TTR Thursday instead of a TTR Friday with a bit of fantasy football thrown in simply because Danielle's 10th. We may as well give a little shout out for England. So we'll start with you, Chippers. How do you think we'll do against Italy first and then Germany?
It's going to be a boring 1-0 to Italy, unfortunately, on Friday. And then the Germans, I don't know, they look a hell of a lot better when we played them a few months ago over there than what they were in the Euros last year. So I think we'll probably draw with Germany.
Okay. Right. Well, thanks for coming on, Chippers. Take care, mate. We'll see you next time.
Right, see you next week. Enjoy your night. See you later. Drop.
See ya.
Right. Jimmy, come on then.
Oh, a boring 0-0 draw against Italy.
Hey, Billy, you've got a hell of a commentary, haven't you?
I just can't wait for this.
and 2-0 defeat to Germany and Southgate. I will enjoy listening to him try to weasel his way through the questions on those.
It will be very interesting. Right, Jimmy, thanks for coming on, matey. Enjoy the nice weather, matey, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks.
See you, Jimmy.
All right, man.
Bye.
Stay healthy, bud. So that was Jimmy. Jack, come on then.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 against Italy.
Oh, that sounds
That's a bit better for you, Billy.
And then I'm going to go for a 2-1 Germany. I feel like Germany's got that bit more than England at the minute. I mean, I've seen photos. I've seen photos of England. I think they brought Jordan Henderson in.
Yeah, they brought Jordan Henderson in for Calvin Phillips, who mysteriously is injured, even though he's never played. And no Madison. I just do not get it. Another defensive midfielder. It honestly, it reeks of horseshit. The whole thing, it really does. But never mind. Sean says very negative in here. Like, personally think we have come on leaps and bounds. Fair enough, results haven't gone quite our way, but in my opinion, our overall performances have deserved better. Well, they have, Sean, but again, it's not negative. I don't get what this negative word's coming from. All we're doing is saying what we would have done to change it, but I'm not going to ramble on. Think what you want. It's fine. Right, Jack, thanks for coming on, buddy. I'll be in touch very shortly because you are going to be Jack is going to be my teacher of all things tech shortly. So he
Good
will
luck,
turn
Jack.
the student becomes the master, shall we say? So yeah, looking forward. I'll be in touch shortly, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good night, mate.
Bye.
See you, mate.
Hey, Jack.
Right, Ryan, come on then.
All right. I guess I'll have to give my neutral opinion on it. So, 2-1 Italy.
I was expecting that, to be honest. I really was.
What's the second game? Germany?
Germany, yeah.
1-1.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. That's all right. Right. Well, who are Canada playing, by the way? Are they playing over the next
They
weekend?
play Qatar, actually, and then Uruguay.
Qatar 4, Canada 0. Uruguay 6,
Come
Canada
on.
0.
Canada were supposed to play Iran at one point. It got canceled because of
It got cancelled,
Canadian,
yeah.
Canadian players weren't getting paid. And like, remember Roy DM'd me. He's like, "What the hell's going on here?"
So Roy, if Iran plays Qatar, who are you supporting?
Iran.
All right. Okay. That's.
I'm
fair
supporting.
enough.
I'm supporting Iran against England as well, even though I've got a British passport.
DGL Floats just says, which section is it to vote on? Found Adam, but can't find the Toon review. Right, that's because Adam's in 2. He's in another one.
He's in sport content and the Premier League one.
Yeah. So what you need to do is you go to best club content creator section, Premier League, and we're in that one. It has to be the best club content creator. So hopefully you'll find. Just click on them all. You'll find us eventually, mate. Right, Ryan. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week, buddy.
Yeah,
See you, mate.
this
Cheers,
is one of
Ryan.
my favorite,
Good
one of
luck.
my favorite fan forums I think I've been on. To be honest, I don't know why. Even though we didn't get the result.
Well,
we
apparently
wanted.
we've been extremely negative tonight, Ryan. So, but actually
It's a
talking
grumpy
football and
episode.
tactics,
I like
it's
this
been
one.
very
Wait,
sort of.
What
a
you
good
should have
one
said, Ron,
tonight.
was this has been the shittiest one I've ever been on. I just followed on with the negative.
Yeah, I mean, just we're actually getting in depth talking about tactics and
I
stuff.
mean, go
which
back
is-
to the first fan forum when I was there, and I was probably negative if you want to class it as that.
Yeah, you want to see some negative. Yeah, but we're actually just talking about tactics and stuff. What is wrong with that? Never mind.
That's what it is.
Right,
Yeah.
we'll see you next week, Ryan.
All right, see you guys.
Take
See
care,
you,
buddy.
Ryan.
Jules says, get voting. Let's get Paul and Billy in some lovely going out sparkly numbers.
Sparkly.
For some reason, is this what I already voted on a few weeks back? No, Foxy, it's not. It's that was to get
nominated.
in to get to the actual awards night. We're there, and there's 7 others alongside us, mate. So we need as many votes as we possibly can. So it's a different one, this, mate. So get voting as much as you can, buddy. Right, Mr. Qatar, man. England.
It's going to be the revenge of England. 2-1 England against Italy.
Wow.
I think against the Germans will be 1-1. I don't trust Southgate as well. I don't know. I think they'll concede in both games. Yeah, they'll concede in both games.
Well, never mind.
Luke Shaw and Maguire. And I'm not happy with Trippier playing on the left as well. You've got players who are left-footed.
Well, look, I mean, there's plenty decent left backs out there, but he just doesn't.
Madison not picked as well. It's weird. Yeah. Does he want to get sacked on purpose or something?
Well, look, it's how he is, isn't it? I mean, he's a very defensive manager, and he's very defensively set up, and it says it all by the amount of midfielders that he's picked. What 5? So and he's picked like 9, 10 defenders. So there 12. You go. It says it all. 12, yeah.
Well, so I've got the news is Iran is Carlos Queiroz returned.
Yes, he has.
He's the coach of Iran again.
The Messiah returns, eh?
Yeah, he was the coach in 2014 and 18. So Southgate, watch out, mate. Well, I don't know. It's going to be England.
You're going to, you know what? If Iran, right? If Iran turn over England, you're going to be like, I'll just ban you off the channel for a couple of months till it's all calmed down, because you are going to be just unbelievable.
Well, the thing is, I've done my little calculation thing. I think England will finish on 9 points, and then I'm hoping USA beats Wales, because I think Wales will beat Iran easy. So, Iran will struggle with pace, but when Iran plays the Yanks, we're going to beat them.
Interesting.
Persians can't beat the Persians.
Yeah, I tell you what, though,
That game's got nothing to do with tactics or anything. That game is just.
That's going to be a very spicy game. A run against the Yanks. Jesus Christ, is it not? Wow.
They played in '98, and
yeah,
Iran
they
was
did.
absolutely rubbish, but won the game.
I know, but we'll see. Right. Thank you for coming on, matey.
Cheers, mate. Cheers,
and
guys.
We'll speak during the week, but we'll see you next week, bud.
See you, Roy. Cheers, buddy.
Social media. Cheers, mate. See you
Good
later,
night,
guys.
mate. Good night. So there you go. That is it for the fan forum. And like I say, we will be back on Thursday night at 8 o'clock with just a bit of a fun show, I think, leading up until the into the weekend again, with England playing on Friday and Monday. So we've got commentary of both games. Billy will be doing the Italy game on Friday night, so give me your support for that. Spend Friday night with Billy, having a laugh. No doubt he'll come up with some crazy puns that he always does. Same for me on Monday night. But I'll be brought down to earth by the Gary Neville of the Toon Review, sitting commentating with me. So looking forward to it. But it should be a good weekend of football still. Just take our mind off Newcastle for a bit. And then, of course, beginning next week, we begin the build-up for the Fulham game, which is going to be an important game. It really is. And hopefully we get back to winning ways. Which will be nice. But listen, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Billy, for your company tonight. Thank you to all the forum guys that came on, to the viewers, to the super chatters. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And to everybody that's continuing to vote for us for the Football Content Awards. Very, very kind of you. Like I said before, just the fact that we're there is just, we're all made up about that, but to go the extra step would be incredible. But it'll be nice to be there and take part in it. So thank you in advance. But we will be back Thursday night with probably TTR Friday on a Thursday, and then we'll do a bit of fantasy football as well. Because Danielle, I think, is 10th. Billy, am I right?
She is. I'm 446th.
Yeah, we'll skirt over that and just so I think Danielle will be wanting the show more than anybody. So there you go. Right. Thank you very much, guys. And we'll see you Thursday night. There will be videos coming out if there's any news, of course. But in the meantime, take care.
Away the lads and lasses.